Hi, I'm Fiona Ford, SwimSmooth coach based in southwest London. We're going to take you through a video analysis now of Lizzie, an interesting swimmer who came to have her stroke looked at and do some stroke correction with her over the summer in 2012. So we'll take a look at her stroke and see what we can do to give her a hand. So we can see Lizzie swimming here towards the camera. Lizzie's a triathlete but has a very strong swimming background, and we can see she's got a great stroke. Very, very strong elements here. She's had a lot of coaching over the years, but she's also trained quite a lot on her own. So she came along hoping to get a bit of insight into where to fine-tune her stroke. She typically does go to Kona. She races the Ironman distance, so she's in the water for a good length of time in terms of the overall race. Lizzie's side-on view here, starting with great body position. For those of you out there that have issues with the leg position behind the body, it might well be that your hips and shoulders are nice and close to the surface like this, and you get a little bit of feedback as to how close to the surface they are. Might swim quicker with a pool buoy significantly. We can see, when we're talking about leg position, where the issues might lie. With Lizzie's leg position, obviously she's got fantastic flexibility. We can see right through from the hips actually, knees, ankles, all the way through pointed toes. It's definitely worth considering tuning up your leg kick if you know that the quads are sitting lower in the water, particularly as you execute that kick down with a bit of a bent knee, creating a bit of drag under the body. It's a big factor to try and get those legs up as high as you can behind the body. But that's an excellent shot of flexible ankles. It's worth doing the stretching and trying to make that as good as you can possibly get it in the water. Okay, so we're going to look at an angle here, which I actually call the killer angle from above. There's no hiding from this angle. It's a bit of a unique one in terms of when you have a video analysis. It's one that you can really survey every single element of your stroke. So in Lizzie's case, we can see really clearly there on the left side that she's going in with her thumb first rather than fingertips first, which is a lot more consolidated on the right hand side. Left hand is spearing in front of her head, crossing over that centre line, and if you watch her sort of roll on through, that will have an effect in terms of creating a bit of a scissor kick behind. So I would call that lateral drag. When we see that in a swimmer, it's a bit like opening a parachute behind, even though it's not great, not too significant. In Lizzie's case, it's definitely worth, with a swimmer of this level of ability, to reduce that where we can and try and get her to align that left hand as nicely as she's aligning the right hand in front of the shoulders, nice and straight, which is providing good stability for her to turn to breathe. And we can see her breathing with quite a lot of rotation there. We can see two goggles out of the water rather than keeping her head nicely placed in the water. So we do some little tuning up on that as part of the stroke correction part of the session. Just get her literally just turning the head in time with the body. And that hopefully, by aligning that left hand a little bit better too, we're going to be able to sort that leg kick out behind her, keeping it as straight as it is the rest of the time when she's swimming. Alright, and so just to finish off with the video footage that we've got, Lizzie's putting in a couple of faster length efforts here just to finish and look at how the stroke might change and adapt a little bit under pressure. So we can see that catch is naturally starting to gravitate towards probably what she was doing before she maybe started to overly lengthen her stroke. So this is going to form the basis for the sort of 3 key recommendations that I'd usually make with a swimmer towards the end of the video analysis process, so that they've got some a clear plan to go on with. So for Lizzie, it's the key things really just sorting out this alignment at the front of the stroke, so that open water is her key priority really in terms of being an Ironman distance triathlete. Certainly for Kona, non-wetsuit swim, we're going to look at correcting this left arm going into the water in front of the shoulder, getting some nice feedback from some of the alignment drills that she can do on her own when she goes away from the session, so she's got a good feel for where she needs to be putting that arm in, so she can stay on course when she's out in the open water and make it a lot easier for her to improve on her swim time, which is already in the 50 minute region for 3.8 Ks. The second thing we look at is modifying this catch at the front of the stroke. We would be aiming to get Lizzie to improve that catch so the fingertips are down rather than scooping up to the surface of the water, improving her feel for the water, and the usual knock-on effect that this has is improving the stroke rate, which we'll come to in a moment. But in terms of angles, we'd like her to spear in a little bit deeper into the water, keeping that elbow or the upper arm anchored while she hinges down with the lower arm, making sure that it is at least straight, if not slightly angled down. This would just improve, you know, a lot of things in her stroke in terms of giving a little bit less leg kick, perhaps a little bit less emphasis on the kick, because she'll feel much more secure in pulling herself through the water, a bit more balance when she turns to breathe as well. So that will tune up really easily, quite nicely. During the stroke correction part of the session, some catch and feel drills, a bit of sculling. Lizzie responded quite well to scull number 2, just where she was hinging there with the elbows. We'd look at this angle here too, where she's pulling in quite close to the body, which is where scull 2 would be quite useful for most swimmers. If you identify this in your stroke, the angle that we're seeing here with Lizzie is under 90 degrees. You can see the thumb is quite close to the body there, so the arm does tend to slip through the water. Not able to get quite as good a purchase there, with the elbow sort of leading the catch back, as it were, rather than staying positioned forward. What we'd like to do is open this angle out a little bit, take it to 90 degrees or slightly more, around the 100 degree mark. And we'd probably find that Lizzie would be finishing that stroke off nicely to her hips as well, and feeling a lot more of that nice rotation through as she takes that hand through to the hips, setting up the rotation for the other side and the catch as well. So that's just a small adjustment really for a swimmer of this ability, not too much work involved there. As I said, once that catch starts to improve, being a little bit deeper in the water, the stroke rate would be the next progression. Whatever your level of ability as a swimmer, may not be swimming at the level of Lizzie, but certainly triathletes, open water swimmers, everybody definitely benefits greatly from seeing the visual of how they're swimming and what it looks like. I'm based in southwest London area in Richmond, and run squads as well as do video analysis and swim workshops. So if you are based in the southeast or anywhere in the sort of London area, feel free to get in touch and book yourself a video analysis session so you can have a clear plan of how to improve your swim efficiency. My website is FionaFordCoaching.com, and there's lots of information there and other examples of video analysis, as well as the other services that I offer.